one of the things that we haven't really promoted a lot at the Baptist Church Ministry Network, but that I know you do, and really probably ought to say that as part of the network, and we can edit this out if you don't say that part, um, is that you meet regularly, maybe a couple times a year, with pastors that are interested in enhancing their Sunday school ministry. Tell us a little bit about what that looks like. You get a few guys together and you spend.
Yeah, let me just tell you the genesis of that. I worked on a great church staff, but when I became pastor, I was really thought that I'm not as dumb as I look, and I think I can do ministry out of my back pocket. I think I can everything I need to do I can do just out of my head. And the problem was, as our church began to grow, I'd be sitting on the platform on a Sunday morning realizing I haven't seen that person in 3 weeks. Where's that person been? And I had no organization at all to put anything together.
The last time you thought about him was the last time you saw him.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the huge. I mean, it was like in my face panic.
Right.
You know, because I felt like, okay, I know how to study and give a lesson.
Right.
I can preach a sermon, but how in the world do I do
Keep
what
up
I
with all these
do? Yeah.
people. Yeah.
And I went back in my mind to some things I've learned that I didn't understand that I'd learned, and then I sought mentors. And there was a pastor in Jacksonville who's a great friend. He was actually one of my college mentors when I was at BBC, and he was ahead of me in the game, and then he pointed me to other pastors and other resources, and soon we began to develop ministry processes. And my passion is to help guys the way I was helped.
Right.
You know, and so what we do is people we don't solicit it.
Right.
You know, you're used to I would go. You know, I'd go and I'd go to this church and go to that church, but I just can't go that much.
Right.
So instead of doing that, when we know that there's 2 or 3 or 4, sometimes 5, 6 churches, we try not to do very many because it takes a lot of personalized time. But we bring a church staff or a pastor and a couple, 3 guys in.
Right.
I've had as many as 7 or 8 from one church come, and we just kind of go over the whole Sunday school process. Literally, what does it mean? How are we committed to not letting somebody fall through the cracks? Do we have a system and a process? Are we committed to saying that every person is important, and we've got to help people not miss the opportunity to get the gospel into every person's life? And what I fully believe, is that I have to be a good steward of every person that God puts under the umbrella of our ministry. And until I am a good steward of those that are coming already, why would I ever expect God to give me another?
Yeah.
Why would I ever expect God to trust me with one of those that He loves more than anything?
Right.
And so that's the passion behind what we do. Yeah, that's what we try to do. So they typically come to us, and we'll start in on Tuesday night, spend all day Wednesday. They're in our service on Wednesday night. And then we finish up on Thursday morning.
I was talking to Tim Bedingfield. He came this last spring, did that with you. And it's unbelievable what's going on in his church.
That guy's got more courage than just about anybody I know. I mean, he went back, and unbelievable what God has done. And it's incredible.
Yeah.
I admire his courage and his conviction.
He kind of relaunched his Sunday school, took 12 weeks to share the whole vision with his people, and I think he told me they're up 10-15% in Sunday school.
Yeah, it's crazy.
People getting saved, people starting to minister that weren't ministering before. Yep. So that's the power that happens when you do the Ephesians 4:11.
Teaching, ministering.
Yeah.
You know, if that's the balance.
Right.
I mean, what he's done is he is way increased the amount of people who are doing the work of the ministry.
Yeah.
He equipped them. Ephesians 4:11-12. That's really what this is all about. If it's dependent upon me to do it, I'm a finite. I got a finite amount of time. I've got a finite amount of resources. I got a finite brain to track stuff. But if I can multiply myself, and that's what Tim's done. He's gone in. He spent all that time equipping the saints for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ, and he did that work. And it is paying off in huge ways.
And the old saying is that the ministry cow never stays milked. I mean, that's something you're working on all the time. But man, what a great opportunity! Yeah, something like that.